All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, I could see the boys were just buzzing with that intro. So Johnathan was singing along. That was classic, man. Don't ever do that again, Johnathan.
It's your line, my brother.
Boys, it's so good to be back, man. Jam, my man. I haven't seen you for a while. You haven't been in this channel, but I'm so glad you're here right now. First of all, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm very well, man. Very well. Always glad to be on here. Thanks for having me again. And just looking forward to the game tomorrow, to be honest. I want to see Tuchel's second game in charge. Like, buzzing for it.
Buzzing, man. Honestly, I am, man. Everything. Look, I've said this whole week, and Johnathan has kind of said it in TL as well. Look, it'll probably be the last time this week we sort of refer back to the Frank Lampard situation. Look, I'm sad how it all sort of transpired, but I'm not going to lie. I could see that coming. Do you know what I mean? Our performances weren't good enough. But having said that, with Tuchel coming in now, man, the buzz is there. The excitement is back into the fan base. You can see. I know there's a lot of people that are still upset about how Frank situation took place, but I think this week slowly I've started to see a few sort of transition back and realizing that, you know what, whatever happened has happened. We got a new gaffer. Let's move on. And the buzz is good, man. Every little thing he's been saying, everything in the training field. I'm loving it, man. I always just go into the Chelsea app and have a look what's going on. Johnathan, how's things, my bro?
Yeah, share the same thing. I'm really buzzing for the game tomorrow. It might be a low block Burnley, and I saw a tweet on Twitter where a small little bus for Wolves and then a massive bus for Burnley. So that's what was coming up. But yeah, look, he's saying all the right things. He's positive. I've got a manager who's confident and happy, and that's no disrespect to previous regimes, but he's saying the right things. He's coming on the exact, he knows what's coming in on the agreement with the contract. Yeah, I'm really happy. So let's get into this. And massive transfer news: Baba Rahman is going to PAOK in Germany, in Greece. In Greece, I guess we're talking about that, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Baba Rahman, my namesake. Do you know what I mean? My last name is my cousin. We are not going to talk about Baba Rahman. Don't worry about that, guys. Claudia Blue Wave, afternoon, boys. Let's just quickly. First of all, shout out to everyone that's joining, and shout out to all who are going to join down the track. Claudia Blue Wave, afternoon, boys. Good to see you all. Buzzing for the game tomorrow. Tuchel has spoken so well in interviews and press conferences. Been nothing but class in the first week. 100%, man. I love that, man, Claudia. Honestly, that's a fantastic way to start this particular show today. Thank you so much, Claudia, for that. Boys, let's get straight into it. Obviously, we've got two parts to this particular show today. We'll talk about the transfer news, some of the rumours of this week, players that we've been sort of linked with, and then we'll talk about the whole match preview for the Burnley game and the bus that Johnathan was referring to, the Wolves having if Wolves had this size of a bus, well, Burnley is going to have a huge bus ready for us. But let's get into the whole transfer news, boys. First of all, I'll go to Johnathan first up. Let's start with Haaland, Johnathan. I've been reading a lot of articles, especially from the Athletic. They've been reporting quite heavily about the whole Haaland thing. I've even listened to Simon Phillips and Dan McCarthy's recent show with Fabrizio Romano, which was quite interesting. Funnily enough, this may be an outside shot. Look, it might not be an out-and-out sort of situation for us because there's quite a lot of teams. Man City are probably going to be looking for a striker with Aguero sort of aging at the moment, Gabriel Jesus is probably not the kind of striker that you want to rely, a whole season with or your future with. So they're a particular team that they're keen on a striker. Liverpool are in the mix, but most importantly, Real Madrid with the likes of Benzema and so on and so forth. They're going to move on. So Real Madrid are a massive one. But the twist here is Haaland himself is not really that interested at the moment. He's saying that I'm happy at Dortmund. I'm the star man over there. I'm playing Champions League. I'm playing top quality football. Even in the German Bundesliga, which is quite competitive with the likes of Bayern Munich, Leverkusen, lots of teams that are doing really, really well in the German Bundesliga. First of all, shout out to Hajir. Thanks, man, for joining. And Johnathan. But the word is in the Athletic that because of the financial situation at the moment with the pandemic and whatnot, that Chelsea feels that they could. I think the buyout clause is about 75 million euros or something like that, or pounds. They feel that they could take an advantage here and try and swoop in and try and convince him. What's your thoughts about this whole Haaland purchase? Not just the whole financial matters, but at the same time, how it impacts our team.
Look, depending on a variety of factors, like you say, finance, whether the guy wants to move, whether Raiola's up for it, whether other teams are going to come in and try and swoop for him. The fact of the matter is, or matter of fact, whatever you want to say, he's a top quality striker. He's going to score goals wherever he goes. He's scored them for Dortmund for the bag load. He came from Salzburg, scored in a short period of time, a lot of goals, came to Dortmund and he's hit the ground running. Whenever he pretty much plays, he scores. Yes, Dortmund is set up to play that attacking football and he is their main striker. But I don't care if we've got Abraham, Werner, Giroud. Giroud will probably leave this summer or shortly. So you can't go into a season with two frontline strikers. You need to have three strikers that are hungry for goals, that are going to push each other. And if we want to compete for the biggest trophies, and I've said this so many times, said it in the summer, said it in recently as well. If you want to compete for the best trophies, you have to have a squad of 22 players that are full of quality, that are going to push each other. Because under Lampard, we've got a great squad, but it just felt like some players would play and there wasn't anyone pushing behind. Like, look at Chilwell, left back. There wasn't enough competition there. Up front, we kept changing it. In the midfield, it just became a bit stale. So, yeah, I want to see competition, and that is going to happen with great players in our squad. So, Chelsea have spent money in the summer, big amounts of money. And like you said about the financial thing, it's not my business, the finances. If he wants to come, Chelsea have got to try and make this happen because he's going to score goals wherever he goes. And I don't think we can miss out on the opportunity.
No, 100%, man. I mean, look, yeah, you're right, man. Who are we to talk about finances if at the end of the day, Mr. Roman Abramovich, if he feels that he wants to get one of the best strikers in the world football at the moment, he'll do that. And then he'll try and secure the future of Chelsea Football Club, I suppose. So, going to you, Jam, look, there's a hot debate about the whole Haaland thing that, well, what about Tammy Abraham? What happens to him? I mean, sure, there's a case for that because, as Jonathan said, how can you have Werner, Tammy? You can have all of them, Haaland, Werner, Tammy. But at the end of the day, these superstars, we all know, man, they all want minutes. And then when you don't give minutes, they become disgruntled. But I want to spin this around a little bit. People think that Tammy is in trouble. I tend to think maybe Werner's in trouble because if he doesn't start showing up, maybe he's the one who gets, replaced by Haaland. Your thoughts about the whole situation?
Yeah, well, let's say this. Look, this season has taught us that we need to be ruthless if we want to, win things. If we want to be at the top, we need to be ruthless. Shout out Hajir there. No, but it's true. We can't afford to sacrifice the results of the team for progression. I mean, there's a fine balance is what I'm saying. So, yeah, Werner, unfortunately, he's going to have to turn it around very, very quickly if he wants to be in with a shout if we were to get Haaland, because obviously that's probably meaning the end for Giroud. He's probably going to leave anyway at the end of this season, you'd imagine. Yeah. Tammy's really competitive. And when you actually look at his numbers, the guy's very, very good. And this whole thing with Tammy is that he gets a lot of stick on social media sometimes because, let's be honest, when he looks bad, he does. He is bad sometimes. When he's bad, he's bad. His touch doesn't stick, but he's getting a bit more consistent as the games come in. And we play our best football with him. So I've got to admit, I used to underrate Tammy, but recently I've come to appreciate him a lot more. And that's probably when I've started talking to Hajir, to be fair. But if Haaland comes in, he's going to push Tammy. And I know Tammy's got the top mentality because he came back. I say this a lot. He came back from the abuse that he got when he missed that penalty in that Super Cup final. I'll never forget how he bounced back to be our top scorer in a season where we needed people to perform. Big bounce back. Big bounce back. Haaland coming in is just going to elevate us even more. There's even a shout that maybe both of them could play up front. Who knows? With Tuchel. But Werner, if he really wants to get himself into that conversation, this second half of the season has got to be good. And I only think having 3 top quality strikers like that is only going to benefit the team. And this season, with everything that's gone on, everyone has learnt the value of having a squad because of injuries.
Very true.
You just cannot afford not to have quality coming off the bench. You can't.
100%. We've got Hajir who's shouting out. Hajir, man, would love you to come on. Give me 1 second, boys. Let's sort this out while you guys,
he's got to come
about
on.
this.
I'll just say something. Whilst you sort that out, I'll say something about Abraham. Look, I am slowly becoming more of a fan of him. And the thing is, Werner, Abraham and Giroud, 3 completely different strikers, which is why it works so well because, different situations, all 3 of those strikers can perform. So for me, if Haaland comes in and Giroud goes, you've got Abraham who is happy to kind of go out to the wings, to switch positions, to drop a bit deeper. He wants to make a few runs into the box. Werner wants to run in behind, be played in, run on the last man. And Haaland is just a pure goal scorer. So even if when Giroud leaves and Haaland comes in, you've still got 3 completely different strikers. So when we look to set up against teams, you could play a Haaland and a Werner, Haaland and an Abraham, if you wanted to play 2, or you play 1 on their own. So all 3 strikers have got fantastic qualities. And again, as I say, if Haaland comes in, Giroud will leave. You've got, still completely different attributes. There's no harm, like Jam said and like I've said, in having a squad. Aguero was missing for a long time with Man City. Jesus hasn't pretty much stepped up to the plate. If they'd have had a goal scorer, they'd be 10 points clear, in my opinion, because they've had to mould their team a bit differently. Look at Gundogan now playing bit further forward, getting goals. De Bruyne had to play as a false 9. If Guardiola had more confidence in a striker, I said they'd be further clear, in my opinion.
Without doubt.
And look at Liverpool. Firmino hasn't particularly performed. I'm not saying drop him, but if they had a goal scorer of like a Mane, Salah, if you had someone in that centre that I know
they went
Firmino
5 games without a goal. They went 5 games without a goal.
I know Firmino suits that style of play and he does help Liverpool, but if they had a goal scorer, they wouldn't have had these issues. If they had a Haaland, Man City or Liverpool or Chelsea had a Haaland, he gets goals and he will win you points. Anyone that says don't have Haaland because we've got other players, I don't care. I always say it's survival of the fittest. If you're good enough, Mount will rise to the challenge. James will rise to the challenge. Abraham's rose to the challenge. You can't just say, I want youth to play. They've got to earn their spot. So... survival of the fittest. 100%. I want the best squad. I want it to literally go on FIFA and watch it and then look at FIFA in real life as well. I want it that competitive. Come on, Chelsea.
Let's have FIFA in real life. Why not? We can do that.
I'm joking, but what I mean is if there's players out there that are going to make our team even better, go for them.
Do you know what? Sorry. Really sorry. So, do you remember that Man City team that had Balotelli, Carlos Tevez, Sergio Aguero, and Edin Dzeko?
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
I know 4's probably overkill, but those guys were absolutely ridiculous. And they slapped the league. They slapped it. And it's literally no wonder. They had a squad that should have done better in Europe and the other cups as well. I think maybe they won a cup alongside that. But what we need to be that team. Surely.
100%. The thing I want to say about Tammy Abraham, guys, and I want to get to some of these questions in the comments because they're quite interesting. Zeke and Fahim, I will definitely get to yours. But the thing about Tammy, guys, is I like his attitude. Look, I've always been a bit skeptical about Tammy. I was always sort of thinking, is this guy really going to be a long-term sort of striker for Chelsea? Does he have all of that quality? But you know what I like about him, man? He works hard. Every time he goes down, he gets right back up again and he keeps working and working and working. I love that attitude about him, man. Seriously, how can you not like a player when they do that kind of stuff? You want to back those kind of players, right? That just keeps bouncing back, and because you just know that one of these days down the track, it will sort of work out for them. Shout out to Hajir. Welcome to the stream, my man.
What's up? I saw you talking about Tammy, so I just have to help him before Jam says everything bad,
I hope you didn't hear part of that.
Massive shout out to Hajir, guys. If you didn't know, in the comment section, 28 people on. First of all, smash that like button. One thing about Hajir, guys, he's followed by the name we've been talking about right now, Tammy Abraham. Tammy Abraham follows Hajir. So let's hear a little bit from Hajir. Hajir, I was just saying to the boys that the one biggest factor that I like about Tammy Abraham is that his attitude. Every time he goes down, he gets back right up again. And the man just doesn't know how to give up. There's a lot of skeptics. I said that, even myself, probably a skeptic, that did I ever picture Tammy to be a long-term sort of striker? But this guy just keeps defying everyone and just comes back stronger and stronger. Your thoughts, man?
Yeah, that is why I like Tammy. If you look at this first season, he had a rough patch in the start where he missed a lot of good chances against Liverpool during the actual game, and then missed that pen, which made us lose the game. And the way he came back from that to be our top scorer, that is why I actually started to like him like that, because now that I've grown older, I actually understand how important it is to be strong mentally and how it can affect your life. So yeah, the guy will never give up, and that is the reason why I think he's going to go to the very, very top. Because if he keeps up the things he's doing at the moment and the way he learns things so quickly too, then Chelsea will have a really good striker that will score 20 plus goals without any penalties every season.
No, 100% agree, man. And it's not just the goals he scores. I think it's his involvement, his contribution is very important as well, man. I really, really like that about a striker that not only scores, but has a vision to help out his team members. How many times have we heard Tammy Abraham say, I feel for Werner. I really do. And I want to see him score goals. I like seeing that. Let's get into some of these questions here. Zikan, it's all well and good having a lot of talented players, but how do you keep them happy? I'll quickly take that. Zeke, first of all, really, really good question, man. I think the key here, Zeke, is, look, I'm not having a dig here. I think someone like Frank Lampard probably struggled in this department because, let's face it, man, he hasn't had that experience in top sort of managerial positions to deal with these sort of issues. But I think someone like Tuchel, who's already come out in the press conference and said, I'm happy with my squad. We are playing in the FA Cup. We are playing in the Champions League. We've got a lot of fixtures in the Premier League, and I'm going to rotate. I'm going to need every player. I'm going to need different characteristics in different games. And I feel like someone like Tuchel will generally talk to some of these players that don't regularly play and tell them that I still rely on you. There's games that you're going to be big for me. There are games that certain players will suit. So I don't think someone like Tuchel is going to be fixated to, this is it. This is my starting 11 for anyone. Whether we play Barcelona, whether we play Burnley, it's all the same. So I think I'm not too worried about that. At the end of the day, look, if a player has massive ambitions that they want to go elsewhere and play week in, week out, well, that's a different case. Fahim here has, I think, pretty much said the same thing. Wingers like Churchill, issues will be, I think we've pretty much covered that. Let's move on to the next player. Let's go to Hajir first up on this one. Hajir, Alaba. There's some reports I've read that Alaba was set on Real Madrid. Apparently, I've just listened to the Cy Phillips and Dan McCarthy podcast, and Fabrizio Romano has actually said there's a pre-contract agreement all ready to go with Real Madrid with Alaba, and it's quite he's destined to go to Real Madrid. But because it's not completely signed up and whatnot, they think that there could be a chance that we could swoop in and steal this. Your thoughts about Alaba? Would you like a sort of defender like Alaba? Or do you feel like, we've got Thiago Silva, we've got Zuma. Do you feel, and don't forget Mark Guehi as well, Hajir. Do you feel that there is a need for Alaba?
I probably will get a lot of stick for this, but I don't want Alaba. Oh my days! I saw Jam's reaction. No,
I was reacting to what you were saying.
Every time I've seen him play, he plays in center back. And I don't think that he's a great center back. I think that he could do a good job in DM or at left back. But even though he's a free agent, those wages will be a lot because apparently he wants at least 300 grand a week. And I actually think that Chelsea lack a physical player, somebody that actually is a little bit more physical than what we have now. And I don't think that Alaba is that physical player we're looking for now. And especially, as you said, Miss, we have Marquinhos coming up. We're probably going to sign a world-class center-back in Jose Maria Jimenez or Koundé. He's a world-class yet, but still. We're probably going to buy that top center-back next to him. I think that Marquinhos is going to be a part of the team for the future. So I think that we're going to buy that top-class center back next to him. And then at left back, I can't see Alaba coming in to be a backup for Chilwell. And even if it was a backup, 300 grand a week for a backup, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. And then and then there's in DM. But as I said, I want us to have that really physical DM playing for us. We lack that. That is why I actually think our midfield at the moment is overrated. I mean, the midfield depth is really good, but we still lack that balance. And I think that the really physical DM behind Kante, Mount, Havertz, whoever you play there, will make a huge difference. And I just don't think that Alaba is that player we're looking for at the moment.
Yeah, you know what? I tend to agree, honestly. Jam, your thoughts about the whole David Alaba? Do you feel like he fits into this team? I mean, look, Thiago Silva's not going to be around like forever. Obviously, he's in his twilight of his career. So there is an opportunity to look for another defender. Mind you, we've got to get a lot of the defenders out as well. There's too many that we need to get out. But do you think, as what Hajir was saying, there's a lot of versatility. He could possibly play left back. He could do probably defensive midfield. He could probably look at centre back. But at the end of the day, that's a lot of money to pay someone, in terms of wages, to be sort of filling in here and there. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, that's very true. But I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit. Have we got a left-footed centre back? No. I guess we could. Well, is he left-footed? My bad. Well, look, he's going to come into the team. He's probably going to take a while to get into the team. Let's be honest. Even if he is part of our plans next season. I mean, Ben Chilwell's performances of late haven't really been that great, have they? Let's be honest. I like the guy as a player, but he's just faltering a little bit, isn't he? So I guess maybe that's where this whole Alaba thing's coming from. Maybe there is actually a bit of a use for him, but for me, I wouldn't really want him. I think we could do better than that. I think we could look a little bit more long term in that position. I think Thiago Silva is going to stay for another season. Hopefully, he could still be doing what he's doing this season for us next season. He looks after himself well, so I don't see the need of getting Alaba, to be completely honest, and I don't think we'll go for him.
Look, from what Fabrizio Romano was saying as well, he really can't see this happening because the deal with Real Madrid is quite set in stone. But he's just saying that obviously anything can happen because it's not completely written. Johnathan, do you fancy a player like Alaba?
I'm going to go completely against all of you. Why not? I mean, he's been at Bayern Munich for so long. Real Madrid won him. Two fantastic clubs. So, look, whenever I've seen him play, he looks calm, looks composed, defends well. I mean, he's transitioned from a left back to a centre back. He can play DM. So he fits, I think, into any team because of his versatility, like you've said. So, look, I've always said I'm not the money man. Couldn't care what they pay him. If they put the prices up for everything to do with Chelsea, they put the price up. If they, have to sell players, not my problem. I just want to see Chelsea be competitive.
I do want to say one thing though, Johnathan. I completely understand what you mean in terms of I don't care about the price. I never care about the price that we pay to purchase them. But there is a notion about player salary creating a bit of an issue across the teams. We've seen it with Cho getting such a bumper deal, and you got likes of Tammy Abraham, sort of saying, well, hey, what about me? I should probably be earning a little bit more than Callum Hudson-Odoi. And it starts creating a bit of imbalance throughout the team. And then you have this sort of pace scale where someone like Kepa gets one of the most expensive salaries in our squad for just sitting in the bench. So it does create a bit of an issue.
I get that. I think players know, though, if you want to bring in players like Alaba or Haaland, they're going to come in on fantastic money or massive money. So I think the players just have to understand this. And all it is, they've got people in their ear, agents, fans, journalists, other players, competitiveness. That's what it is. It's not, I don't think players care. They get paid very, very well. I think it's other people that put these ideas into their head that, oh, this player's earning more than you. You should be earning this amount. Look, get your agent to negotiate yourself a deal. That will happen. But yeah, so it doesn't concern me too much. I get harmony. And about someone's question earlier about how do you keep everyone happy? When you're winning, no one cares. The problem with us, when we're not winning, players cause unrest. It's player power. It's always when Chelsea are not winning, when we have a bad run of form. But when we're winning, everything's rosy. When Conte's winning season, Mourinho's winning seasons, Ancelotti's winning seasons, were any players moaning then? No, because they're winning. Bayern Munich, where's there ever player power that they don't care because they're winning? City only ever problems when they're not winning. PSG, they're winning everything, but when they don't win the Champions League, problems. Every big club, they will have problems with the squad when they're not winning. And Chelsea, that unfortunately happens a lot because we go up and down like a roller coaster. So, yeah, for me, I don't think it's going to happen. Like Romano said, like we've all said. But if we were to get him, I would be very happy that we got him. So that's kind of my stance on it.
No, makes sense. And it's good to have a whole mixture of stance here. Deep State, if Real doesn't take Alaba, we have to block other Premier League teams from taking him. To be honest, I don't really know if the other Premier League teams are interested at the moment. They would have been very heavy on it already. You look at Man City, they've got Nathan Ake. They could possibly look at someone for Fernandinho, but then again, Fernandinho probably's got a few more years to go, and then they've got Rodri over there. And left back, they've got Zinchenko and Mendy, so I'm not really sure. Liverpool, probably Robertson, and they've got a lot of defensive midfielders there, so I can't really see that happening either. Let's move swiftly along to this one's an interesting one, boys. I'll start with Hajir. Hajir, man, Marquinhos. To be honest, I didn't even know this was a rumor. I did a post yesterday which ended up getting something about 1.5k likes, and then off the back of that, everyone I see on the timeline now, everything is about Marquinhos. But apparently there was a rumor from Dean Jones. He's very well known for transfer rumors and whatnot. And he was saying that now that Tuchel's here, Declan Rice rumors sort of calmed down a little bit because Declan Rice was genuinely a Frank Lampard push more than the club. In fact, the club hierarchies didn't want to get Declan Rice. It's been stated in the Athletic that this is one of the reasons that they were kind of a bit annoyed with Frank Lampard, that he was pushing for this so much, because obviously the club, as you know, has let go of him a long time ago, and they didn't want to purchase someone back. They were sort of estimating something about 45 to 50 million pounds at best, but West Ham's asking in the range of 75 to 80 mil, and they're really milking it. I just want to put it out there, guys. I've got nothing against Declan Rice. I think he's an absolute really, really good footballer. Probably didn't rate him that much last season, but obviously start of this season and end of last season, I started rating him a lot more. But I do get annoyed, Hajir, a lot that our fan base, every time West Ham plays, or when we play West Ham, there is a lot more propaganda on Declan Rice as opposed to our players that are putting the hard yards to try and get the 3 points. And it's got to a point for me that I just feel bitter about this now. I really don't want it. And when I saw Marquinhos rumors, I was like, I'm buzzing. I'd rather have Marquinhos. And the whole connection with Tuchel and Silva, Thiago Silva with their chest bumping, that image just comes in. Your thoughts? Do you want Declan Rice? Do you want Marquinhos?
Well, I'm one of them people who spreads his propaganda when he plays. I haven't. I
was waiting for that.
Yeah, damn no. I haven't missed a Declan Rice game.
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, it's gone. I actually haven't missed a Declan Rice game in over a year now. I've always kind of thought that this guy is on load, and he's actually turned into probably my top 3 players at the moment. Well, not at the moment. Then, the other day when I read about the whole situation, it broke my heart because I know that we won't get him anymore. So I'm not going to watch West Ham as casual like I do now. But the thing is, apparently West Ham only wants to sell him for 50 because they want to sell cheap in the summer. So if that happens, then yeah. But to be fair, if we move on from him, because that probably won't happen. If you look at the market, who's possible, what age are they? Then Marquinhos is so good for us to get. The guy is 26.
Yeah.
People want him in center back. Nah, definitely not. He is world class at DM. We need a DM. So why would you buy him and play him at center back when you can buy a proper center back instead?
Yeah.
And that's Roman Abramovich. Roman Abramovich, he doesn't mess around. If he wants a DM and a center back, he's going to buy them, even if it costs 200 million. So if you actually bought Marquinhos, we would win stuff, because the thing is, this is the thing. This Regista, Campista, Mebista, whatever you want to call it, it's a myth. It's a fugazi. It doesn't know. You don't win the league with that. You think Man United coming up against us or afraid of playing Kovacic and Jorginho in the midfield? Nah, they won that. That's the thing. They won that. Look at City. They have Fernandinho in DM in 17, 18, 19. They won back-to-back. Then this Regista Campista came in Rodri for 70 million pounds. They look crap. Basically, they look crap. Then now, look at them now. Fernandinho is back. And I know that Ruben Diaz has had an impact. But Fernandinho is now back. Look how good you are now. You need that proper beer in midfield. And the thing is, Marquinhos, he has all the physical qualities, passing qualities, every quality you need. And I know that people like to mess about it and have jokes about it. But when you have all those things and you have the passion he has, then you have a proper midfield. Can you imagine Marquinhos, Mason Mount as a DM pivot when Marquinhos is the one? No, let me finish. Where Marquinhos is the deeper one, Mason Mount is kind of like a center mid, a little bit more free. And then you have Kai Havertz in front of them. Could you imagine that?
I'm hard, bro.
And you had Erling Haaland at the top. That midfield will even Kanté in that position next to a proper DM. That is when he performs the best. So if you have them three, we're going to win the league. Marquinhos will transform this midfield into a midfield. People will be scared of playing. People aren't. Let's be real. I'm sitting from here. I'm not informed. I don't run at all. I just lift weights. So my stamina is terrible. But if you put me against Jorginho now, I wouldn't be afraid. I would be like, I'm gonna dominate this guy. I'm gonna dominate him hard. If I come up against Marquinhos now, I wouldn't even bother go on the pitch. That's the difference he will bring. So yeah, definitely. If we can buy Marquinhos, then yeah, go ahead.
Man, for me, Marquinhos, I really followed PSG a lot. I mean, I always knew about Marquinhos, right? I've seen him quite a lot, Brazil and whatnot, and obviously for PSG. But last season, PSG is something I really watched in the Champions League. And Marquinhos, I feel like he's got the same energy, the same stamina, the dynamism as Kanté, but he has that ball-playing ability that Kanté probably doesn't have at the same time. I think Marquinhos, his ranges of passing is really good. And yeah, just imagine, like sometimes if we ever play double pivot of Kanté and Marquinhos, forget about it. You're not getting past that. Jam, quickly to you, my man.
That wins the titles, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Jam, it's quite funny because obviously Hajir was talking about Jorginho there, and I want to tell you something because in the whole Cy Phillips and Dan McCarthy podcast with Fabrizio Romano, obviously he's Italian, but he was sort of saying that in Italy, Jorginho is a superstar. Like he was saying, in Italy he plays every game, and for Jorginho he's massive. For the fans in Italy, and he wants to stay in Chelsea. Apparently, that's what Fabrizio Romano was saying, that Jorginho wants to stay in Chelsea. He loves the fans and whatnot. It's quite strange because the fans have a different feeling about him. But do you feel, because I feel like Tuchel, now he's here, I feel like he's going to use Jorginho a little bit because he tends to. We had 860 passes in that first game against Wolves. No one is doing that if you don't play Jorginho. That's the thing. Like he controls that. He allows for the centre backs to rely the pass to him, so he can just quickly keep distributing it on. Do you feel? And there was rumours that Tuchel wanted Jorginho in PSG. What do you reckon about the future of Jorginho, man? Do you feel like he could have an opportunity here, or do you think we will quickly try and find a home for him in summer and then get ourselves a proper DM, as Hajir was saying that? Regista, Batista, Barista, you're not going to do that in Premier League.
The way Jorginho's been playing recently, he has been a barista. Honestly, this guy, when he's on the pitch, it's like he's running through porridge. The guy's so slow. I feel like I can moonwalk faster than him. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating. And look, I'm going to put a bit of respect to his name. The guy is a bit of a metronome in terms of passing. Yes, he could do the 10-yard passes. He could do 20-yard passes. Cool. Well, anyone could do that. Kovacic could do that. Mount could do that. What value does he add to the team right now? What does he add? And what really annoys me with Jorginho is he has the quality to hit those first-time through balls over the top that he does to Tammy sometimes. But what happens? He's done it once. He doesn't do it. He literally decides, do you know what? I could pass, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to turn around, do a 1-2 with Kovacic because he's my brother. What is this? Honestly, pray and I hope he has a great career after Chelsea, but he needs to go this summer. I hope Chelsea get rid of him this summer. And I really hope we get a DM in, a physical DM. Hajir's just got me gassed on Marquinhos, to be fair. And look, I know a little bit about
this. We need to start this propaganda, boys. I think we do. We really do. Marquinhos to Chelsea.
Yeah,
100%. 100%. I'm hearing it. I'm hearing Declan Rice as well. One of the two. I'm hearing it. We need that. We need that still. We need that mentality. They're both leaders. They come into our midfield alongside a Mason Mount that's also got those qualities. And they develop Mason Mount. They would add to his sort of mental development, if you like, his leadership aspects. Marquinhos or Declan Rice, that steel, that energy, just that passion. We need it. We need it. We need it. We need it. Mount needs it. Kante needs it. Chelsea needs it. So, yes, to answer your question again, Jorginho has to go. I feel like the club, I'm 50-50 as to whether they will move him on. But I feel like, I'm going to be completely honest, I feel like either Jorginho or Kovacic needs to go. We can't have both of them. We can't have both of them. It doesn't work. So I hope the club gets rid of them. I don't know if they will, or one of them at least. But we need a DM, 100%, without fail.
Johnathan Mann, obviously the boys have stated their point of view. I've sort of stated my point of view. From your perspective, do you think a player like Jorginho has something to give in the Premier League, or does the Premier League demand a sort of a DM like the Declan Rice or Marquinhos kind of style to complement a player like Kante? Your thoughts? Do you keep with Jorginho and see how things going, or in summer you get rid of him, you 100% go for someone like Declan Rice or Marquinhos?
First of all, it smells a little bit of gas in here. Blimey, I mean, talk about playing these Brazilian brothers in arms. But I get it. Like, I understand it completely why people want Marquinhos, serial winner at PSG. And like you said, that connection with Silva, the connection with Tuchel, fantastic player. But I mean, my penny's worth on Jorginho. Look, the English side of fans in our league, they like a traditional DM, a monster, a bulldozer. That's just, we're brought up on it in old-fashioned coaching in this country. And generally, teams that have had players like that have won. I remember Essien, one of my favourite players ever, was just a machine in that role. And when you had Ballack, Lampard, Essien, Hajir was talking about, not wanting to get on the pitch. I wouldn't even want to get in the stadium if Essien, Ballack and Lampard were turning up. Why do you think so many players turned up in that era where we had 80-odd games unbeaten? They came up to Stamford Bridge. They'd already lost Old Trafford and Fergie. Teams came up and saw Roy Keane and thought, I don't fancy this. Patrick Vieira, don't fancy this. So the English Premier League has traditionally had great, fantastic flair players, but they've also been complemented by destructive midfielders. And Marquinhos will fit that bill. But he is very technical as well. I feel like he can play on the ball as well. So for me, fantastic if we can get Marquinhos or Rice. I think the Rice thing has died a little bit of Lampard. All the sources coming out saying that it was very much pushed by Lampard. They don't want to have egg on their face, even though we bought Matic back from Benfica. It's an interesting one. I'll take either of them, but I get the Brazilian connection with Marquinhos. I think he is a fantastic player. And look, the thing is with Jorginho, I'll kind of end on this. Look, in certain systems, against Wolves, he was comfortable. He was able to have time, move it along, fine. But in other games where you've got a 10 or 8 pushing on Jorginho, not letting him have any time on the ball, that's when he struggles. So in certain systems, he works well. In the Italian national team, he works well because he's free to do what he wants. In Chelsea's team, in the Premier League, there's 50% of our league. Unfortunately, he doesn't suit those games. He suits home games against the Burnley or Wolves, in my opinion. But he won't, against Fulham, why we didn't control the midfield because that's not the game. He's set up to fail, unfortunately, by Lampard in that game. And even Sarri at times when, we were just overrun because, he can't play certain games. Kante, in my opinion, can't play lone DM against a Maddison, let's say, against a Grealish, because he can't mark. He's someone that wants to go and seek out the ball, seek and destroy. So I'm not saying Kante's a bad player. It's just that he doesn't suit certain roles. And it's the same with Jorginho. He doesn't suit certain roles. And unfortunately, in the Premier League, as I said, with the opposition and with a lot of fans, we don't particularly appreciate Jorginho's qualities. I think he will have it appreciated in the Italian league. So the way we're going, it's very interesting to see what Tuchel does. He may want to play Jorginho. He may use him as a massive part of the team. But I think a lot of fans want to see Kante, Mount, Marquinhos, Rice, that sort of solid midfield to go, this is our base. Now Ziyech, Havertz, Haaland, Werner, Abraham, Pulisic. You do whatever you want to do because we've got this. We've got this on lock. And if you've got a nice defensive base that doesn't concede, we've seen the era where we conceded 15 goals at Chelsea. Most teams that win the league concede the fewest amount of goals. If you don't concede, you can't lose. You set yourself up to score. So that's why obviously Liverpool have been struggling because they haven't scored, but then they've been leaking goals. Man City have now been keeping clean sheets. They've been scoring goals. They've been winning a couple of games 2-0, but they're keeping clean sheets. So I want to see one of these happen, and I completely get the gassing from Jam and Hajir. I really like that barista regista. That made me chuckle. So I think we have to appreciate every player's attributes and values, and some of them don't always fit in the setup. So it's an interesting one, and I think for one of them to come in, Jorginho or Kovacic or someone's got to leave.
Yeah, no, 100% agreed, man. Shout out to Wilson. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Just quickly, I'll take this one. This one was an interesting question before we get into the match preview. How about we don't buy any other player and let Tuchel produce Ampadu CDM with the passing? Look, I don't know, man. I mean, look, I like Ampadu. I really do. I get that. He's an academy, one of our youth products. I don't think he's actually from our academy. We got him from somewhere, Exeter or something like that. Yeah. But we do have that love affection for Ampadu. Look, Ampadu is a really, really good player, and now he's coming along nicely in Sheffield United. But I don't know. I think he's playing a lot more in the CB position, so maybe that's a position for him. I know he plays CDM for Wales. Perhaps he could do a job. But this is the thing, guys. And shout out to 71 people that are on. First of all, please smash that like button. Get those likes up to at least 70. I just want to say, I don't want a player that just does a job anymore. I want a player that destroys a role. Do you know what I mean? I want a player that's going to own a role. No more of this, why don't we let Ampadu come in and he can develop? No. Time for development is we need to win stuff with this squad now. Do you know what I mean? And this is what Tuchel was saying as well. So that's my thoughts. It's not that I'm not saying that let's not have Ampadu back. If we can get him back and he can be as a backup, fair enough. But it's not someone I would say let's rely on and try and sort of see where that goes. Guys, that's enough about the transfer rumors. Let's get straight into the match preview, guys. I'll start with Hajir. Bro, it's got to be a win. It has to be a win. And I get it. It's Tuchel's second game. But I think he himself will say it to the lads and to himself that we need to win this because one of the objectives still for the season is top 4. Your thoughts about this particular matchup, man?
Well, there is a video of me going at Burnley, so if we lose, you probably won't hear of me for a couple of months. Yeah, Titanic. Yeah, I mean, I think we're not going to destroy them, but I think that we're going to destroy them, not scoring wise, but playing wise. I think. I actually think that we are going to use all this like different tiki-taka football. I think like something different, something we haven't seen in a while. And I think that he's actually going to play Timo and Tammy together. And I think that they're going to stretch out that defense. No more crossing and hope for the best.
Bro, we did play with Timo and Tammy last time, and Ziyech ruled it against Burnley. Do you remember? They had a good connection.
And do you know another thing? People want us to play Giroud to cross the ball. Liverpool lost against Burnley because they kept crossing the ball. Burnley want us to cross the ball. If they stay compact and just can clear every cross, then that is how they want us to play. We need Tammy to drop deep, Timo to stretch the defense out, going behind. Tammy to they need to move in all different ways. We need to open them up, and that is why I also think that Callum Hudson-Odoi can have a really important game because we have actually seen what Tuchel has done with players like Ousmane Dembele at Dortmund. The guy was a monster with all these young players. Imagine if these two strikers opens up space for Hudson-Odoi. I don't think people understand how good he is at actually beating the defender. And if he has space to add to that, then even him can have a stupendous game.
Yeah.
So I think we may win 2-2 if we have a good day, 3-0. But I think that we are going to play some football, some really, really good football that Chelsea fans haven't seen in a long, long time.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. I'm gassed. I'm hard, bro. I'm hard. Jam, bro. That's one new thing. I'm hard, bro. I'm hard. Jam, bro. Some of the training sessions, the recent one, Tuchel was screaming at and saying, two touches. Everyone, just 2 touches. He is playing that. He wants the players to, just get the ball, think quick, pass. Get the ball, think quick, pass. We did beat Burnley last time. We actually touched them up, just by your words. We really touched them up last time. Timo Werner, Tammy Abraham, Ziyech were fantastic in that game. However, my man, Burnley has beaten Liverpool. Burnley has beaten Aston Villa in the last couple of games. These guys, they're not messing around at the moment, and we are, we're just slowly building up. Your thoughts about this matchup?
Well, yeah, let's start with the bad news, which is basically carrying on from what you said. Burnley, in their last 5 games, they lost 1-0 at home to Man United. They lost 1-0 away to West Ham. These are 2 very informed teams. They lost, they won at Anfield. The first team to do that in like 4 years. Exactly. They beat Fulham 3-0 in the FA Cup, I think it was, away. And they beat Aston Villa 3-2 at home. Another informed team. These guys are not mugs. They're actually somehow scoring more goals than we are. Because if you look at us, we beat Morecambe 4-0. Morecambe. I don't even count that. We may as well have. That actually just doesn't count.
They're called the Shrimps, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But Fulham, we beat Fulham 1-0 and they had 10 men. Yeah, we struggled to score. We didn't score against Leicester. We beat Luton 3-1, but again, it's Luton. And we didn't score.
Now you have to respect that Luton game. That was different. That game was different. You can't. Time scored a hat trick. You can't use it. That is different. That is different.
Either way, Hajir, it's still the Championship. Do you know what I mean? I mean, compared to Burnley is scoring more goals against better opposition at the moment than we are, which just shows that actually their attackers might be just that little bit more confident than ours, potentially. I mean, maybe not Tammy. I'll just put that in there just for you. But it's not going.
No one's taking the hat trick away from Tammy. No. Disrespect.
Absolutely. No. That was a good hat trick. But this is going to be a tough game. Yes, when we play Burnley at home, usually, or even anywhere, we usually beat them. I think the one time they beat us was when we had 9 men in the end. But it's a game that, look, I think I'm excited because I want to see what Tuchel does against these guys. I think if we win this game, hopefully we can get a little bit more confidence going into a game against Spurs away that have just lost Harry Kane for potentially a few weeks.
Big news.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they're not even on the best of form. So we need to be flying going into that game. But it's, I think it's going to be a close one, unfortunately.
Bro, don't tell me that. I thought you're going to say you're going to touch them up. We're going to touch them up, bro. Say it, bro.
No, look. Thomas Tuchel might touch them, but it's going to be close. It's going to, eventually he might do it. But I like what you were saying about this whole 2-touch thing. Playing with the mini footballs in training. Yeah. It's just sharpening up the lads again because I feel like things got a little bit stale, and it doesn't help when you're playing Jovic in midfield. But what you want is you just want the lads just to quicken it up a little bit and play a little bit more direct at times. So maybe he's going to get that instilled into them. Hopefully these few days on the training pitch might do that. So maybe we can beat Burnley. I think it's going to be something close like 1-0 or 2-1, unfortunately.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Honestly, I'll take it. We just need to win. Go to that Spurs games, as you said, with a lot of confidence and really get that win against Spurs. Boys, first of all, shout out again, Wilson, man. Another super chat. Thank you so much. I have no idea about this player. So someone help me out if anyone wants to with this super chat. Hajir, Johnathan, Jam, do you know who Manuel Locatelli is?
I mean, if nobody knows who he is, then I don't want him because that should say a lot. that should say a lot. I mean, he's probably a good player, but no.
Do you know what? I saw that comment come in and I thought I'd do a little bit of research.
I knew you'd do that, Jam. Talk to me.
All I know is that he plays for Sassuolo,
Right, yeah.
who are a mid-table Serie A team. He's
That's
23.
the Jeremy Boga team, right? Boga plays for
Yes,
Sassuolo?
yeah. That's the one. I mean, I'd be interested to see why this guy has picked him out specifically. I have not heard of him before this chat, I must admit. And like Hajir says, if we haven't heard of anyone, look at this badge. We're Chelsea Football Club. Fam, come on, man. Come on. Do you know what I mean? Let's be real. If we're looking for a DM to start, we need to be buying top talent. We do.
Absolutely. Wilson, look, sorry to disappoint you, my man. Look, we are not as the footballing connoisseurs, as you would say. We don't know who Manuel Locatelli is, but shout out to you. If you think he's all that, man, maybe something to look into for sure. Jonathan, the whole Burnley game, what worries you about Burnley, Jonathan? Because obviously they've beaten Liverpool. They look very resolute. They've beaten Aston Villa, which was a 3-2 game. It wasn't as if like it was just park the bus and it was a bit of an entertainment show. What is it that worries you about Burnley that moving into this particular game for us?
Locatelli, by the way, or Locatelli, quite highly rated in the Italian league. I know that, but he's quite young as well. We've got other players on loan, and I think we need a guy that's instant impact. So interesting thought. I mean, it's one of those names that is on the periphery, but I don't see any links, so we won't know too much. I think it will come into the spotlight maybe in the future if we get linked in properly. But about Burnley, look, they are a team in form, like we've said. I've said in my preview of Tom last night that we can't go into this game and take them lightly. They have less pace than Wolves, so they're not going to counter on us and they're not going to break on us, in my opinion, too much. Other than the McNeil, who can cross the ball, got a little bit of pace. It's going to be, they're going to want to take us on at set pieces, and that is what I'm worried about, because recently we have not defended set pieces very well. And in the Wolves game, I was struggling to see whether we were going to man mark, whether we were going to be a zonal team. He's probably just thought, do what you did under Lampard. I don't want to change too much in one day. So I'm really interested to see how we defend against Burnley in set pieces, because me and Tarkowski are, Barnes, Wood, they've got players of height, of stature that will win the headers in the box. And that's one thing I'm worried about set pieces. When they get a free kick in and around the box, they're going to put 4 or 5 big guys in the box and try and hit us. So I'm not worried about...
Would you start Zuma?
I think he clearly likes Rudiger. So I think it's Rudiger, Silva, and maybe Azpilicueta. It depends what he does free, if it's a 4. But I would play Zuma for his aerial threat. So I think set pieces we have to worry about. I think we do have to worry about crosses into the box because they will get them in. But look, they're a very, very resolute team. Dyche has been there for a long time. They know how to set up against teams away from home. Teams that will dominate the ball. They don't care if we have the ball. They do not care. They will sit compact. And if we, we've been talking about earlier, if you just want to spam crosses, fine. We'll just head it out and we'll do it again. And we'll do it again. So that is not the thing to do. I mean, there's some comments here about saying we need to create more space and start running in behind. Hudson-Odoi alluded to that in the press conference after the game as well. We need to make sure we move this Burnley team around. If you let them set, they will just block everything. They will dive in front of the ball. One of their players will probably have a broken foot. Me will get up and just Tarkowski will just get up.
Do you remember, Jonathan, the last time when we played Burnley? I still remember the first goal. I think it was a really, really good movement from Ziyech to Timo Werner in the wide. Timo Werner then passes it to Tammy. Tammy first time lays it off to Ziyech, and Ziyech first time hits it and scores that goal. And then from there on, Burnley were a little bit rattled because they were there to park the bus.
This is their game plan. And that's the thing. What happened there is we moved and we got in behind, we created space, and then he's taken a first-time shot, doesn't let the goalkeeper set or the defence set. That was That was the difference. Because if you let this Burnley team set, they will every day of the week take that clean sheet and take a 0-0 away to Burnley. So, look, it's going to be a very tough game, and it's his second game in charge. We've got to be patient. I want to see an improvement on Wolves, but I'm not expecting the final product. So, I just want to see us look a little bit more threatening going forward, be clinical, take some more shots as well, because Pope's a fantastic keeper. But if you keep prepping him, as we saw with the Ziyech early goal in the away game, if we break and we create space and we inject some pace into this game, Burnley not the quickest team. This is where we're going to cause problems. But just go through a few of the comments. There was one earlier that I didn't annoy me, but it bugged me about saying the reason why an English manager has never won the Premier League. Nothing to do. It's nothing to do with about how we feel as fans. there is some fantastic English Premier League managers in the Championship as well. English clubs don't give him a chance because there's so much money riding on it. There's so much success that's needed. And at a club like Chelsea, you can't expect us to be faithful just because he's English. Lampard would have been sacked whether he's English, German or Italian. It was just meant to be. But, you know, if you get a good manager in, and let's say you get an English manager to another club that isn't so trigger happy, maybe we'll see some success. But unfortunately, English managers don't get the chance. I don't know why that is. And one question about Kovacic as DM, he is not disciplined enough. There was a time in the Wolves game where Dendoncker came in behind Jorginho and Kovacic and got the header in. I talked about it in our match review. Kovacic had no idea where he was, so he can't play as DM. And about youngsters, again, Chelsea are a team that demand instant success. We were successful last year with the youngsters because they managed to step up, but we're not Arsenal. And, you know, the famous quotes of "you'll never win anything with kids." You've got to have a mix of experience and youth.
Got to have a balance.
You can't play with youngsters. Yeah. So, but yeah, they're really good comments, and it's really great to see the Emre Can comment. I thought that was really, really funny. So yeah, it's keep getting involved and make sure you smash that like button.
Can I just sorry, Jonathan, can I just develop on something you said?
Yeah.
Sorry. So you said you're not really too sure as to why English there aren't more English managers in the game. Well, what I would say is, do people know how many people are involved in a football team getting as close to 100% maximum performance as possible? Do people actually realise how many staff members there are behind the scenes that are working on these little 1% things here and there, getting the marginal gains up? Do people realise the amount of thought that goes into next managers and thinking this person is going to get us to this because of X, Y, and Z? Sometimes it's not as simple as, oh, we'll just have him because he's English, or it's because he's French, or because he's German. Like, some people don't realise all the finer details that go into all the staff, all football teams performing at an elite level. And I'm telling you this as somebody that's played football, not at an elite level, but even at my level, sometimes you can see all the different things that go into each part, each percentage to get as close to maximum performance as you can. So what I'm saying there is that maybe they don't get the chance because it's so hard to get the chance because it's so competitive.
Yeah, there's only 20 clubs in the Premier League. You can't, it's very hard to get the job. And look, Gerrard's gone to Rangers, building a dynasty there, hopefully. Rooney's now got the job at Derby. Lampard had the job at Chelsea. These younger players are going to start coming through and getting these big jobs. We will see success. We just, unfortunately, the bad, I wouldn't say bad, but, we've got a bad notion of, as English managers, of having your Allardyces and your Bruce of just set up.
Alan Pardew.
Yeah, and that's because the style of football, we didn't have, if you weren't tall and you weren't a monster, you didn't get into your Sunday league or your Saturday side. Whereas now we're starting to appreciate technicalities and players on the ball. If you're 5'6", we don't care anymore. And I've coached teams, and I want one monster DM, but I loved having technical players. We now appreciate that as English coaches, and we're getting better. We're so far behind other leagues, German, Spanish, and you look at the Spanish team that won 3 trophies in a row because they were built on technical ability. But yeah, we're getting there, and the Premier League is a global league. But remember, it's a lot of it comes from English fundamentals with the way and the styles we demand. So really interesting. Just reading that one about Marquinhos as well.
Just quickly from my end, English managers. Eddie Howe is English, right? Like, I may be wrong here.
He is.
Or I think he really should have moved on from Bournemouth, because I rated him as a manager for someone keeping Bournemouth up for that long and playing that type of football that Bournemouth used to play. Obviously, last season not that great, but Eddie Howe, I rate that guy. I think he hopefully moves on from Bournemouth. I don't know if he is in Bournemouth. Do you guys even know? If
he lost his job at the end of the season, and then they brought another young manager in. But he again is an attacking manager. He couldn't set up a defence, and he just needs to. He felt at home at Bournemouth. And the comment from Samuel here: do you think Lampard will get another job? Definitely get another job, but wait until the end of the season, in my opinion. Do some media stuff. Take some time with your wife because she's having a child soon.
Baby coming up,
and then get that hunger back, because he's probably feeling a bit sour after that Chelsea job, and I would be. So go somewhere where you can build where you're going to get time as well. And then he should have done maybe what Gerrard did, and I always point to Gerrard as being a very good example. So yeah, it's sorry, I know I've been ranting on for a little bit.
No, that's fine, man.
Yeah,
go on, bro.
I was just going to say it's there's so many facets, to Chelsea. We don't understand that. I've been talking on Twitter all week about Chelsea being a club that we demand success. So we have to build. We just have to build on it and just hope for the best, in my opinion.
100%. Look, I've always said since Frank Lampard has been sacked, I've said that. Look, first of all, Frank needs to realize as well: is this what he wants to do down the track? Is management really for him? He needs to say that to himself because it's not for everyone. That's the thing. But if he thinks it is for him, then he needs to find that next job and really see everything out there before he starts tackling the bigger clubs. Because in the bigger clubs, as you guys saw in Chelsea, it's not easy. There's, as Johnathan said, there's different facets. There's politics. There's toxic sort of backroom staff that wants to eat your job and that kind of stuff, and so on and so forth. And the board can be very, very difficult. So, but you need to be able to handle that. If you want to manage Chelsea, you have to be able to handle that. I'm not going to say that, but why does Chelsea have things like that? It's not just Chelsea. Liverpool probably has things like that. Man City probably has things like that. Arsenal, we know, has things like that. So, it is what it is. Guys, let's move on swiftly back into this whole Burnley game. I'm confident, honestly, as Hajir was saying, and the boys, you guys were saying, I'm pretty confident if we move these guys around with quick passing ranges, like the way we did in the first game against them, I think we can definitely get a victory and also touch them up, honestly. I'm predicting, I would love a 2-0 victory, honestly. I would love a 2-0 victory. Could even be 3, but 2-0, I'll take it. Let's go through some lineups and formation, guys, because obviously that's hot in our tails at the moment. Hajir, how would you shape up? Obviously, Tuchel, it's very, very difficult because he's new. But how would you shape this up against Burnley?
The thing is, I've actually, when we were linked to Tuchel, I think, or when he actually became the coach the day before, I actually started to look into him a lot, and I've seen him use the 4-2-2-2 a lot too, and I used it. And this is the thing, and Tuchel has also said this: if you want to get the best out of Timo Werner, you need to play him next to a striker, and if you want to get the best out of Havertz, you need to play him as a 10 behind the striker. But you can't do that without not having any wingers. If you want to do that, you need to play a diamond, and we don't want to do that. So the thing I would do, I would play Silva in the goal, Mendy in goal, Reece James, Thiago Silva, and Zuma because of the ability, heading ability. We need that. Chilwell. Then I would play Mason Mount and Kanté. That's the two holding players, and Hudson-Odoi on the left, and Kai Havertz on the right. He would be a little bit more central. If he play a little bit more central,
inside forward.
Yeah, not as wide as Hudson-Odoi. So he will have more of a free role. Then Tammy and Timo up front. I think we will win 3-0 if we do that, actually.
Right. No Ziyech for you, huh?
Nah, he was so poor the last game. People tell, this is the thing with Chelsea fans. Our standards, and you can't tweet it on Twitter because you will get rinsed, but our standards has dropped so much. I saw people gassing up that Jorginho and Kovacic's performance last time, telling me they were dominating the midfield. This is the thing with saying dominating. Dominating a midfield, it's not about one team sitting a bat and you keeping possession. Wolves literally sat back because they knew that these two are like a sidemen. They only pass sideways. So if we let these two have possession, they won't do any harm to us. Dominating a midfield is about two teams going at each other, trying to play their style of football, and you win that battle. Battle. It's not about sitting back and let you have possession. That is not dominating a midfield. And the thing is, I don't even know what I was thinking about before because I'm lost now. But the thing is, you need to have standards, and people are telling me Ziyech look better than before. But the thing is, sure, he looked better than before, but he was still bad. He was average. No, not even average. His corners were like Willian again. I was scared. I was like, is this new Willian? Yeah. I was like, what is this? I was crying. I was sitting here on the live stream, and I was just crying. The thing is, too, so he was average. Kai Havertz looked good. He looked really, really good. And I think that Tuchel is the perfect manager to actually take him to the next level. So let's give Kai Havertz a chance. And then Hakim Ziyech has to work harder and actually regain that position in the team by playing good football. You need to perform to get that position. If you don't perform, our squad depth is so big. Off the bench you go. Easy as. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Look, I completely understand what you're saying, Hajir. The only thing my issue, look, I'm a little bit biased with Ziyech. I love Ziyech, man. Just the way you like Tammy, I like Ziyech a lot. So I'm a little bit biased about that. But the only thing about Ziyech that I want is I feel like he's got that X factor in the sense that his distribution, he's got that pass in the locker that will open teams up. You know, he did that against Burnley in the last time. The lineup that you've mentioned is a very, very good lineup, obviously. With Burnley sitting back, it doesn't really matter who you play in the pivot in the likes of Kante and Mason Mount, because at the end of the day, they really shouldn't be hurting us too much in the counter. They're more of a set-piece artist. The only worry for me, Hajir, in your lineup is who is the playmaker that's going to find the passes? Is it Havertz, possibly Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham and Timo Werner are a bit farther up. So the question to you, Hajir, just quickly, who's the guy who's going to be doing the key passes in your lineup?
I think that Mason Mount is going to play the what's it called? Passes in between. Yeah. I think he will make those direct passes to a Hudson-Odoi, who's literally just like that goes at the defenders. No hesitating. This is with Pulisic too. This is a difference with Pulisic's dribbling and Hudson-Odoi's dribbling. Pulisic, especially on the right, is a lot more direct, but on the left, he slows the play down and actually stops and then try to beat the defender. And even though that's good, against Burnley, you need to be fast. And I think Mason Mount will actually look up, play those passes to Hudson-Odoi, who will directly go at the defender. Not hesitating, just go like that. And even the thing is too, Mason Mount has the ability to play those long passes to either Tammy or Timo. Both of us are really fast. He can do that. So I think that, and especially with the Kai have a little bit more of a free possession, I think that the thing you're talking about won't be a problem at all.
No, fair enough. No, makes sense to me. Jam, let's go swiftly to you, my man. Your lineup, your formation, how you setting this up?
So, what I would say first of all is, I am pretty sure I saw a quote from Tuchel saying that there's a reason that the reason that Timo didn't feature at all is because he's seen that he's not right up here. So I don't feel like he's going to play him at all again. I actually don't see him playing. But then this is my preferred lineup rather than what I think Tuchel will do, to be honest. Yeah. So it's going to be Mendy in goal, right back James, Zuma, Silva, Chilwell, and obviously Silva and Zuma centre back for their aerial ability. Obviously Silva's always going to play, Zuma in for Rudiger for that reason. And he scored a header against them last time, didn't he? Zuma.
Yes. Yes.
Then I would go with two. So I'd go with a pivot of Kante and Mount as well. That would be my preferred thing because, again, like Hajir said, we're not really going to expect Burnley to come onto us a lot. So we may as well just have that added sort of threat in Mount and not Kovacic and not Jorginho. In front of them, I'd put Havertz at the 10. I'd still play Ziyech and then I'll play Cho left wing and I would put Tammy up front. So the reason I'm doing that is because I think Ziyech still has a lot of value to add in terms of actually being a playmaker, like you said. I think obviously Kai Havertz in the 10, another playmaker. I think Mount from deep could be another playmaker. I think Reece James coming down the right, from bombing up and down the right wing is always going to happen. And I think Cho could cause a lot of trouble from the left. And then I could see Tammy getting a few goals in this game, hopefully, a goal or two. I mean, I said it's going to be close, but I feel like that's the best way we can attack them, to be honest. It's a mix of what worked against them last time and those players that are in form or, to an extent this time. So, that would be my preferred 11, to be honest.
No, it makes sense, man. It makes sense to me. Probably similar to that as well. Johnathan, what would your lineup be? Just before that, Yusuf has just commented here. Big ups, guys. Thanks, Yusuf. Yusuf is one of those guys who's always there in my stream. What's your name, lot, except Miz? We've got Hajir just underneath me. We've got Jam next to me there. And then Johnathan. Oh, no. No,
the other way.
Jam, and we've got Johnathan there. Yeah, hope that sort of answered your question, Yusuf. Yeah, Jonathan, talk to me about your lineup and formation, my man.
It's so tough because we don't know if he's going to go with that 3, whether he's going to change it up. Maybe it was just a test of a lineup because he obviously hadn't seen Chelsea very much or seen the players much. So it's tough. Maybe he looks at Burnley and goes, I need as much attacking threat as possible. I don't need to have 3 centre-backs and 2 wing-backs. It's really, really, really tough. And like Jam said, I'm going to say preferred lineup. So I think we all know the back 5. I would play Zuma, albeit I think he'll probably play Rudiger. At right back, I would bring James back in just so I think we need a bit more dynamism. And against McNeil, I think he could cause Azpilicueta problems. In the midfield, I think Kante's going to come back, and I would probably pair him with someone like Mount. And bearing in mind, Tuchel's talked about the double 6, Kante and Mount together. And then I would just let the 3 in front of them roam as much as they wanted. And it would be Havertz, Pulisic and Ziyech. And the reason I say Ziyech is just because, like Miz said, I'm a bit of a fan. I wouldn't say biased because I appreciate, he hasn't had his best form in the last few months. It was better against Wolves, but far from perfect. I want to see him try stuff a bit early, put that ball in early, get on the ball, bring it inside, put it early, shoot as well. He had a couple of shots, I think, against Patricio. But I want to see a few more shots from him and just a bit more underlap, overlap. And that's why, I think he can create something a little bit different. Now, the thing is, I haven't got Hudson-Odoi in that team. And that is nothing against him because I think he could play instead of Pulisic for sure. But because Pulisic didn't play, I just feel like we will see most of the squad in this Burnley game or the Spurs game because he played a few different ones against Wolves. I feel like he's going to want to see all of his players. So I feel like we could see a few changes tomorrow in the Burnley game. So, it's tough. I mean, I would happily play Pulisic or Hudson-Odoi instead of Pulisic. And then up top, it's really difficult because I don't want to get shot on the stream because I'm not going to say Abraham. But Werner's comment...
You're about to say Werner. You're about to say Werner.
The way he said that comment, that he sort of said... that it was along the lines of, he doesn't look right in the head. He doesn't look ready. I can't remember the exact quote, but I did see it. I'm not sure whether it's direct from him. But maybe that's, a bit of a statement to Werner to go, come on, I want you to be ready. I want you to be up for this. I want to be able to rely on you because he kind of came out and said he's not in the right frame of mind. I can't really rely on him. Maybe that will stir Werner up and go, okay, I scored against them. I think did he score against them in the reverse game? So maybe, it could be a test, but it would be safe to go with Abraham because then he allows movement. He allows Havertz to go in behind. He allows Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, Ziyech, whoever plays to go in behind. So it just allows more movement. And Werner's going to want to play on the shoulder, want to play it in behind. Whereas, we won't have that much space against Burnley. As much as I want us to open it up, I don't feel like, we're going to have as much space. So I don't really it's hard to talk about lineups because I have no idea. And I get why people would say... I get why people would say no Werner because he hasn't got any confidence at the moment. I completely get that. Which is why obviously I'd probably go with Abraham. It's a safe option. I feel like this is not Giroud's game, and I don't want to have him in this game just because, it just means that we're going to play into Burnley's strengths. And I don't want that. Yeah. So I'm hoping Tuchel seems to be a guy that is he understands oppositions, what's needed. He's willing to be to change it up tactically and understands what's needed in games. So. Yeah, I couldn't put a finger on 11, as I said. I've given a rough idea of what I'd like, but don't be surprised if there's a few names in the lineup or a style of that he sets up at that completely shocks us all because that's the beauty of him. I think he's willing to keep the opponents guessing. And Burnley will come in and think, sit deep. Let's try and counter that. That's all I want to see is a better performance than against Wolves.
No, for sure. I just want to... My caveat to all of this is that the whole Timo Werner thing that I've seen Timo play really good so far this season when he's played that one time he played against Tammy. Played side by side against Tammy, which was against Luton. I know Luton is not a massive opposition, but when I think about the combination that Tammy and Werner had up front, I think that is perfect for Timo Werner. And Tammy thrives off that as well. I feel like Tammy likes to have a partner next to him as well, and not have all the duties sort of relied on him when he's playing up front. The reason why I say this is when Tammy and Timo are playing together, Tammy sometimes drops deep in the midfield to basically link up and hold up. And then he allows to, release Timo Werner. That's why we saw Timo Werner play such a free role against Luton and absolutely run amok. And he set up a goal for Tammy Abraham as well. So I know it's going to be very difficult and different against Burnley, but I would like to see two up front. I want to see Tuchel. Look, as you boys have all said, it's very difficult to come up with a lineup because we don't know exactly what Tuchel's up to because we haven't seen enough games yet. So from that perspective, the only thing I would say is I think the back line is what you guys have already said. Mendy, Reece James, Thiago Silva, Zuma, Chilwell. I think we can agree on that. Probably in the pivot, look, my only thing is I think Tuchel fancies someone like Jorginho because he's able to just hold the ball and pass it on. So I get the feeling he may start him along with maybe a Mount or a Kante. This is not my personal, I know, but I feel like he may do that because he thinks that, Jorginho is easier to help out, to build up. But then again, Burnley is not going to press us. So hopefully he doesn't use that because it'd probably be a wasted position in that particular game. So I do appreciate the Kante Mount. I'm not really sure is Kante fit or not. I'm not entirely sure. So we'll have to see if he does start. But Mount probably needs to play because that 10 or so minutes that he came off the bench, he looked really, really good. So he'll be buzzing for that. So the formation I'd probably go with is the 4-2-2-2 as well because I want to play Tammy and Timo up front and definitely not Giroud in this match. And I would like to give Callum Hudson-Odoi. I feel like Callum Hudson-Odoi and Tuchel are really building a relationship here. So I want to see that, whether it'll probably be on the left side and Ziyech on the right side. That means that we miss out on Havertz, and he can come off the bench. But we'll see. It's very difficult. We've got a very, very strong team to juggle everyone around. And we all seem to have our own sort of personal little bias, but at the same time, ideologies as well. Guys, thank you heaps, honestly, for joining. Shout out to there was 95 people at one stage. John, please smash that like button. Get it up to at least 70, guys. Honestly, take this opportunity. Hit that like button. It doesn't cost anything. And I've loved it. The comments kept flying in. The boys loved it. We had a mad laugh. All of the information, except for Hajir, because Hajir was a surprise package throughout the stream. I will put Hajir's details in the description. You can find him, in his Twitter page and whatnot. And also, Chelsea Social guys, they're doing some epic work over there with their watch-alongs. Make sure to join them with Hajir and Jay, and they do bring in some special guests throughout their stream. So check out for the watch-along. I probably will have a watch-along as well. It's probably not going to be as exciting as those guys, but if you are interested, please come to my watch along as well. Or have both the watch alongs on. Why not? Have both of the streams on at the same time. Mix it up. But yeah, guys, honestly, thank you heaps. Before I go, just a shout out to all my guests and some final words. We'll start with Jam. Some final words, bro.
So the more I think about it, I think Thomas is going to touch Burnley. So I'm going to go with 2-0. I've changed it. 2-0 Chelsea. But just want to say, Miz, always a pleasure being on your channel. Thank you very much for having me on, as always. And just backing up what he said, you guys don't understand how much it helps if you just press the like button. So many of you have been in here. So many of you are going to watch this later. Please just help him out and hammer that like button and subscribe to his channel. It's brilliant. And also the Chelsea Social whilst you're at it.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes. 100% Chelsea Social. Honestly, you guys are doing some top work there. Johnathan as well. Guys, please subscribe to my man, Johnathan. He's very close to 500 subscribers. Get this guy to 500. And he's got some unique point of views, and he brings some really, really top guests that you honestly, you don't get too much exposure of them. So give him that chance as well. Guys, Johnathan, some final words.
Oh, I appreciate that because, I'm coming up against channels like Chelsea Social who will get to 1,000 soon. Yourself, Miz, is nearly on 3. So it's just, we all appreciate the support. We all appreciate, the likes and the subscribes and stuff. But for me, I just enjoy the comments. And that's why it's great to come on here with 3 great people as well and see these comments. It brings up so many points of discussion. So yeah, I really enjoyed being on, as always. Love my Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, what it is now, stream. So yeah, make sure you check out, all the channels. But yeah, just let's just be patient. Let's back, this manager now. We know how Chelsea are with the revolving door. So it's an exciting time as a manager. And tomorrow, yeah, let's just, hopefully we can get a win. And that's all I really want, a goal or 2 and a win. That's what I asked for.
No, 100%. Guys, just before I go to Hajir, obviously Mark is meant to be on during these streams, but he is a bit unwell. So do wish him best of luck so that he recovers quick and he's back with us next week. But Hajir, my man, honestly, it's been so good to have you. I hope we can have you more in this particular channel. Looks like the live chat really appreciates you. You got a lot of good comments there. Yeah, Emre Chan, that's a new one. I definitely want to pencil that one down. Hajir, some final words from you, my man.
No, I'm just happy to be on. I told you I was gonna come on sooner or later, so here I am. But yeah, thank you for having me on. It's an honor. Hopefully, I will be on more times. And yeah, I think we will win 3-0 tomorrow, as I said. I have nothing else to add to that.
No, brilliant, guys. Honestly, yeah, check them out. Chelsea Social, they'll have a watch along. I pretty believe you guys are getting Dubois on tomorrow. CFC Dubois. And Hajir is a bit of a showman when it comes to these watch alongs. So do check in on that. So yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps us up. Thank you so much for that. Hopefully we get a victory. Post-match, we're going to have Johnathan back here. I may have someone else as well for the post-match. So guys, it's going to be good. Until next time, everyone. See ya.